Hey everybody, welcome back to Vinyl 101 with Kent. I'm sorry I haven't been on the page or posting for some time. Been busy, life as usual. But I wanted to post for the first time this year and talk about some records I've recently received in my into my collection. Have been playing recently here in my home. I've got about 5, maybe 6 records I want to talk about. All different genres. Again, as I've said in the past, my main love is rock and roll and metal, but I'll listen to just about anything as long as it's good and makes my foot tap. So anyway, before I do get started, I just want to say I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and a Happy Hanukkah. It's important to take stake in those times of the year. It's the end of the year. It's time to get together with family. I know myself and my family had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope yours did as well. Excuse me. So let's get to the records. All right. So the first record on tonight's list is George Michael's Faith. George Michael was an amazing talent. He had a way to bring rock, pop, R&B, and soul into his tunes, especially his solo work. As most of you know, he started out in the pop duo Wham, which was an amazing group. A couple of amazing tunes or albums, and some great tunes as well. But all I'm talking about is his solo album, Faith. What an amazing album. I fell in love with this album the first time I heard it. It's so amazing. The ironic thing is, once he finished the tour for this album, he said, I will never tour on this album ever again. I hate the moniker that was created for it. It was a leather jacket and jeans and almost kind of a rockabilly type of moniker. He didn't want to. He would said, "I will never dress this way again," and that was fine. That was his choice. He's the artist, and it's his tunes and his show. So yeah. But again, this is an amazing album, along with the rest of his catalog of tunes. This, however, was again one of his biggest albums. Full of, again, rock and roll tunes. I think there maybe one country-ish tune, and pop and soul, and just tons of great tunes. The sounds. Some of the best tunes on this album, in my opinion, were Faith, Hard Day, Monkey. Monkey was a great tune. Anytime it came on the radio when I was a kid, I'm like, yeah, Monkey, let's go! Just a great tune. And a wonderful album. As we all know, unfortunately, we lost George Michael. I think it's been 10 years already. He had a heart attack on Christmas morning, and but his memory lives through his music. And this album, every other album he released as an artist, are just amazing tunes and amazing things to listen to. So check out George Michael's Faith. It's an amazing record. Check out his Wham records and the rest of his solo stuff. It's just, you can get lost in them. They're amazing records, amazing songs. So again, George Michael's Faith. Next, I'm going to talk about, excuse me as I go out of camera. Here we go, I'm back. Something that might shock some of you. But again, as I say, if you can get my foot tapping and there's something that resonates inside that makes me get up and go, yeah, let's go. I am talking about a little Scottish lad by the name of Rod Stewart. Yes, Rod Stewart is the definition of a gentleman. Just amazing rock and roll tunes. And again, some I won't say R&B, but definitely some mellow melody tunes, great tunes. Believe it or not, my very first concert was Rod Stewart in 1993, 94 at the Anaheim Pond in Orange County, California. It was amazing. My parents took my brother and I, and we were on the first floor, about 20 rows back, and we only got to do that because my mom's has always been a huge fan of Rod Stewart. He probably played for 2 hours, and it was insane. Just great tunes, great backup singers and dancers, but also watching 20,000 housewives in Orange County wooing over this gentleman. And that's always been his thing. Women are attracted to him, but I don't care about that. I care about the tunes. And he has a great catalog of tunes. One of my other favorite albums, other than this one, which is called A Night on Town, beautiful album, is his Unplugged album that he plays just a full orchestra of, or not orchestra, but a full defining career of all his tunes from start to finish. I think he played a couple new ones. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It was 20 plus years, probably 30 years ago when that album came out. It was amazing. But for this album, some of my favorite tunes are Tonight's the Night, beautiful tune. The First Cut is the deepest. And then one of my top probably 20 favorite tunes is The Ball Trap. Such a great tune. But if you've never listened to any of Rod Stewart's tunes, do yourself a favor. If you have, whether it's iTunes or whatever streaming service you have, download one of his greatest hits albums. It's so amazing, so many great tunes, and you know what? Yeah, some of them were released 50, 60 years ago, but you know what? They're timeless. Just amazing records. All right, so again, Rod Stewart, here we go. All right, so the next record I'm going to be talking about, is Genesis's Invisible Touch. I love this album. I got this album for Christmas by request. Not just because my parents wanted something to listen to other than Duran Duran in the car with my brother and I. I asked for this album because I fell in love with the album for this tune. Let's see here, where did it go? Land of Confusion. I'm sorry, I'm unorganized here. Land of Confusion was such a crazy video. It was claymation with political leaders. Ronald Reagan was one of them, and it was awesome. I mean, 7 years old, I didn't know the meaning behind the video. A bunch of political leaders and looking obnoxious and like they don't know what they're talking about or doing. But anyway, this is a beautiful album. Genesis has gone through a couple different runs of artists. Phil Collins, the drummer, filled in for drums once Peter Gabriel left the band, and I think he brought the band to another level artistically. When Peter Gabriel was the singer, it was more artsy and performance stuff, fantasy. I'm not talking bad about it, but just not something I'm a big fan of. But Phil Collins, he remained the drummer until Genesis broke up. Also, he had a background drummer when he took the lead singer position, and when his drumming ability kind of started to fail because of health. But this is an amazing album. For me, this is kind of where my passion for prog rock begins. Genesis have always been known as a prog rock band. And when I say prog rock, I'm talking the mighty Tool, Mastodon, Rush. Not a fan of Rush, but that's what I'm talking about, that type of music. So Genesis is, sorry, I'm gonna trip over that. Invisible Touch. My favorite songs on this album are obviously Invisible Touch, Land of Confusion, and In Too Deep. In Too Deep is a timeless tune that has been on a couple of his Phil Collins' solo albums as well, and also featured in one of my favorite movies, American Psycho. If you haven't seen that, check that out. But also, check the album out. It's amazing. What I do love about this is this is a first edition. So this is 30-something years old. The sleeve itself is a little dirty, but the vinyl is clean and crisp. When this arrived, I cleaned and sterilized the record myself. So yeah, anyway, Genesis's Invisible Touch. All right, 1 second. Next, we've got a record I've been looking for a long, long time. And I never knew if I would ever find it. But I found it about a week and a half ago. And you're probably asking, well, what is it, Kent? What record? You talk about every other record you have. Like, well, here we go. The soundtrack to one of my favorite movies from the 1990s, Airheads, featuring Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and I always forget his name. I know it, but when I'm on camera, I forget it. Adam Sandler, excuse me. So the three of them are in a band on the Hollywood Strip called Lone Rangers. Yeah, Lone Rangers? That's pretty funny. Anyway, they are trying to make it on the Strip, and they have a demo tape. And they've been trying to get into other record companies just to get their demo heard so they could get a recording contract. So Chaz, Brendan Fraser, broke into this corporate conglomerate record label called, let's see, what was the name of it? I think it was Pinnacle Records, I think is what the name was. And he broke in, found the owner or the president, tried to get him to listen to the EP, and he threw him out right away. And he just said, "Don't ever come back here. We'll call the police." But so they're like, "Well, we gotta find something to do. We don't want to get real jobs." And so they decided to go break in and stick up the local metal channel KPPX, and it was hilarious. They didn't break in with real guns. They had squirt guns, but nobody knew it except for the three of them. And obviously with squirt guns, there's no ammo. They filled each one with chili peppers and hot sauce. So if anybody got out of line, they got a squirt in the eye. But what happened is they ended up finally getting the record heard and became infamous, I guess, because they ended up going to jail for the break-in and ended up releasing a full-length album called America's Most Lethal, America's Most Wanted, something like that. But it's a stupid, funny movie. Check it out. I don't know if it's anywhere on streaming, but you can always find the DVD or the I don't know if anybody still has VHSs or if they still make VHS players. I don't know. But check this movie out. But anyway, back to the actual record, which I'm talking about. The vinyl. This is an amazing metal record with some original tunes and also some covers. Let's see, the artists who are on the album are Anthrax, the mighty Anthrax. What's really cool about this is they don't play an Anthrax tune. They actually play a tune by the Smiths. I mean, the Smiths, how cool is that? Let's see here. Then Candlebox, one of the many 90s Seattle bands. Really cool band, seen them live once. pretty cool. Band called Degeneration, then band called Dig, Four Non Blondes. So it was a really cool band, one album, and then the lead singer started writing tunes for other bands and other artists. The Lone Rangers, again, that's the name of the band. It's actually not performed by them on it, but it's 3 other people, but they say it's by them. Let's see, Motorhead. Yep, Motorhead with Ice-T and Whitfield Crane. Whitfield Crane was lead singer of a band in the 80s called, what's in my mind here? I just had it. They had that song that was called Everything I Hate About You. So yeah, not a good band, not one of my favorites. But anyway, we're going on to Primus. Primus is awesome. The Prong, the mighty Prong out of New York City. New York City hardcore's finest. Then the Ramones. Then one of my favorite Kansas bands from Lawrence, Kansas, Stick. Stick was an amazing band, had a good run of about 5-6 years in the Kansas City area, toured the country with a couple other bands, some really good albums. Their album Punching Bag is amazing. Check it out if you can find it. Then let's see here, Stuttering John of Howard Stern Show infamy. Then lastly, White Zombie. It's a really cool album. A couple of the bands have their songs are B-sides that weren't used in albums that came out around this time, which I kind of like that. You get to hear other songs that the bands didn't release on their albums. So yeah, soundtrack for Airheads, really cool stuff. All right, now my next to last album is back. A very special album that I love. I've always I have this on my phone, but I've wanted to get this on vinyl for some time. Chris Cornell's Nobody Sings Like You Anymore. Chris Cornell. Just if you don't know Chris Cornell, just an amazing singer. He started with Soundgarden, another grunge Seattle band, amazing. Temple of the Dog, which is a tribute band to Andy Wood, who passed away. He was the lead singer of Mother Love Bone, another 90s grunge band, who actually ended up kind of turning into Pearl Jam, actually. And then Chris ended up being in other bands like he released several solo albums, Audio Slave, and other things. Well, what's beautiful about this album is it's a cover album, complete cover album, no original tunes. And he does them in his own way. He has a sense of, almost has a ghostly melodic voice, and I love it. But he can also roar. Listen to Soundgarden stuff, especially their earlier stuff. Oh my God. But yeah, great, beautiful album fortunately it's on original black vinyl. I was hoping this would be on a color vinyl, but that's okay. The other cool thing is this was actually Record Store Day release. I couldn't get my hands on because it was sold out by the time I got in line at Stinkweeds. But some great tunes on this. Let me go over this. We've got Nothing Compares to You, which was Sinead O'Connor's famous tune, actually written by Prince. We have, sorry, let me pull out the record here. Sorry, 1 second. All right. Jump in the Fire. It's not the Metallica tune, but it is a beautiful tune. Sad Sad City. Patience. Patience by Guns N' Roses. That was originally released on their GNR Lives EP. GNR Lies. Oh, I'm having trouble talking today. But GNR Lies. It's an amazing, amazing tune. his version. The original is also amazing, but he turns it into a beautiful harmonic serenade. Let's see who else we have. Sorry, I can't see, I'm blind. Anyway, it's a beautiful song made up of singles or covers, I should say, of songs from other artists. Check this out. But also, if you haven't ever listened to any of his stuff, check out Soundgarden and from Atomic Tunes. Just download a copy of their greatest hits album. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But if you want to hear more of his melodic stuff, download his solo album. It's called Euphoric Morning. Oh, beautiful, beautiful album. So yeah. Chris Cornell, nobody sings like you anymore. Unfortunately, you're not going to get any more music from Chris Cornell, unfortunately, because we did lose him about 4 or 5 years ago. But get this, it's beautiful. He has several other solo albums, and yeah. So I have one more record I want to talk about, and this actually arrived today. And excuse me, I am talking about Faith No More live at the Los Angeles Palladium. This is a radio broadcast from 1990. 1990. This is badass. This is when their album Real Thing came out. And that is a beautiful tune, or beautiful album, excuse me. For those who don't know anything about Faith No More, they were whatever you want to call their status, a rock and roll, metal, also jazzy, bluesy, funk band. I think they've had, featuring their current lead singer, Mike Patton. I think they've had 5 albums with Mike Patton, and they are all amazing. But what's really cool, why I wanted this record, is there are some guest appearances during this show. First is the mighty Ozzy Osbourne, because they did a cover of Iron Man on this album. So yeah, beautiful. Then the mighty James Hetfield showed up at the show, played a tune with them. Then lastly, Young MC. I don't know what tune he played on because I haven't listened to this yet, but I can't wait to break this one in because I love Faith No More. I actually never got to see them live. I hope I can fix that, because apparently there's rumors they're gonna tour again this year. I really hope. But I'm sorry, I just looked at. I've been talking for about 5 minutes or 25 minutes. I apologize. Take your time this evening. But that's how passionate I get about records and music, because I just keep talking and talking. But thanks for tuning in. I will be broadcasting probably again this weekend. I've got some other records I want to talk about. But listen to the records. Listen to the vinyl record. For my opinion, they sound better. And I purchase and collect them because they're mine. I get to hold them, and they're mine. So if streaming services go away, I have an actual record that I can play. I have my tunes. But anyway, I'm going on a rant there. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks, guys. Cheers.